Weddings can be very expensive and can discourage people from getting formally married. Yet marriage is a good thing, and in today's culture an officially recognized marriage is still the best family protection plan. But you can actually get married for free, or almost for free. Remember this: the most important thing about any wedding is the exchanging of vows. The rest can be a trap to try and sucker you into spending money. Except for the cost of the paperwork, you can have a fabulous wedding almost without spending any money. Here's how. First of all, belong to a church. We belong to a church primarily for the eternal dividends, but there are also plenty of rewards in this life. Apart from the proven longevity of your life, social networking, and emotional support system, churches are filled with wonderful people who volunteer time and talents for any worthwhile endeavor. A wedding is a time when extended family and church celebrate together and people are eager to help. A big expense is food, but if you belong to a church, many churches are like a big family with lots of uncles and aunts. Christian churches teach a culture of humility instead of pride. So asking everyone for help is a perfectly normal thing to do. Just invite everyone to bring a covered dish and have a potluck wedding. People would be glad to chip in a delicious dish to celebrate your special day. What about wedding clothes? If you are willing to buck the system and not be suckered into a shallow and meaningless fashion parade, just wear your best. On the other hand, if you really want that special wedding dress, do it the old-fashioned way and make it. In a church setting, there are often skilled people who are willing to help you create that special wedding dress just for the cost of materials. I know of at least one situation where a talented woman even made the groom's clothes. What about the wedding cake and flowers? Again, there's no need for any great expense. Most churches have several individuals who are perfectly capable of creating a beautiful wedding cake in the style that is usual for your region, and do beautiful floral arrangements with either real or silk flowers. Many people would be highly complimented to be asked to help in this way and will readily volunteer. What about hall rental? Again, if you belong to a church with a sanctuary and a fellowship hall, they probably have a policy of free rental to members. Of course, most churches will accept a small donation to cover the cost of utilities, but many will tell you that is their gift to you. A relatively minor expense is paying the pastor, but most churches have a policy that weddings for church members are without charge. So again, apart from the eternal dividends, being a faithful member of a church pays off on your wedding day. Second, don't be a sucker to cultural mandates. These are things that advertisers and movies say you must have, but you actually don't. So what about those rings? Well, rings are customary but not mandatory. However, if you really want them, that may cost you something, unless you have inherited Grandma and Grandpa's rings. But again, don't be a sucker. Diamonds are not a girl's best friend, nor are they forever. That's a marketing ploy by a Dutch diamond monopoly. Diamonds are cold, and you can get the same refractive rainbow effect from cheap crystal. If you really want a beautiful engagement ring, why not pick something that actually is pretty, like an opal or a rock of your favorite color? If you do insist on simple wedding bands, they can be found for a very inexpensive price. What about that honeymoon? Honeymoons are actually a rather modern thing. There's no need for an expensive vacation to an island resort for your marriage to be a success. Honeymoon means honey month, but that's not a long enough time. The first year of marriage is a time for adjustment, sorting out differences, learning to fight fair, and learning to compromise. Treat it like a year-long date. In ancient Israel, people were exempted from military service for the first year of their marriage, and that's a valuable principle. Plan your first year to be relatively stress-free. Avoid any long time apart, any new and stressful business ventures, and certainly try to be alone as often as possible. If you have to live with parents, try to make your part of the house like a separate apartment and keep the doors closed most of the time. Weddings are a joyful time, but remember, something will go wrong and that usually creates a fun memory. The only thing that really counts is whether or not you say "I do." The rest is really unimportant and rather irrelevant. Don't spend all your money on a fashion parade. Make your wedding a simple statement of lifelong commitment in front of your chosen community, and save your money to build a life together.